Blackfriars Theater is growing and thriving here in Rochester, New York, celebrating 75 years of success. Here to tell us more about it is their artistic director, Brynn Tyszka. Welcome here so much, and thank you so much
Thanks for having me. I'm excited to talk a little bit.
Well, it's an historic moment for your theater company.
It very much is. We just wrapped up our 75th season with The Noteworthy Life of Howard Barnes, which was a smash success. We were very excited about it. The fourth show of the season that we had to add extra performances for sellouts. So it's feeling pretty good right now.
Oh my! Now, I think I looked on the site, on your website, which is blackfriars.org.
Yep.
There are about 6 main stage shows per season, is that correct?
Yeah, so we do a 6-show subscription season, which is a combination of plays and musicals, usually 2 musicals. And then we have our concert series as well on top of that. And this year we're offering a subscription for that as well. So
I had no idea.
Yeah, it's very fun. We do a New Year's show, which is just like a big old fun blast, and people love it. It's early for the people like me who don't want to be awake till midnight. And then we have more of a dance concert called Divas and Dance, and then we finish up with a show in concert, which this year will be The Music Man.
Wow, and how many of those are there per season?
There's 3.
3 of those, plus 6 main stage shows.
Correct.
That's pretty much year-round, it would seem.
It is year-round. We also have our Bitsy show during the summer. Right now we're getting started with Shrek, so that is a pre-professional training program for students aged 16 to 24, but who are current students.
I see.
And so that's a really fun program. We also do the conservatory, which is an educational program. We have Hourglass Play Reading Series, which is a free play series, so there's a lot always happening.
Holy smoke. Now, having visited the theater, I noticed it's a very flexible space. You must enjoy working there.
We do. So it's a tricky space too. It's a 3/4 thrust, which basically means that the audience is surrounding all of the actors on 3 sides, and it's a traditional black box, which means you usually, you don't have fly space, so there's no bringing in backdrops or anything like that, or flying people around like in Mary Poppins you would see. So it can be a tricky space to work with. We don't have a bunch of wing space, which is basically the backstage area where you would hide big pieces of furniture, so it can be a challenge. But it's about to get a lot more flexible. The guys who we call the guys, our volunteer builders, are completely rebuilding the entire back wall of the theater and making a lot more access points so we can put doors in different places, and it'll be really fun to see how that turns out. They were building around a sort of warped wall. Tricky when you're trying to come up with plans for that.
Now, as artistic director, do you direct the shows, or you direct the shows?
Yeah, so I am contracted to participate in 2 season shows per season. The assumption is that I will direct one and be in one. But we have outside artists come in to direct as well, so I will usually only direct 1 per season. And then we have a pool of very talented artists to choose from for every aspect of performance and production. At the theater, we employ somewhere between like 100 to 130 artists, local artists, per year. So that's a big boon for us. We really enjoy being a place where people can come and practice their artistry and still have a family and like a front yard, as opposed to New York or LA where that's not so possible.
So you're not importing talent, you're using?
No, yeah, we are. It's our mission to hire all local artists, and we're thrilled that the quality of the shows has never suffered because of that. We have such a huge talent pool here in Rochester, and our patrons are always saying, man, I come here and I see the kind of performances and the kind of technical ability and the artistry that you would see on a Broadway stage. So that feels really good to hear. And at about 1/4 of the price.
Yeah, well, that's important too.
Yeah.
Now, you mentioned the conservatory. Let's learn more about that.
Yeah, so it's our educational program. We offer all kinds of different classes for every aspect of theater. Usually we would do maybe 6-week courses where people could come on a Saturday morning for 6 weeks in a row and spend an hour and a half with us learning about acting, directing, voice production, things like anything that an actor could need. This summer we're doing a series of workshops that'll be 3 hours apiece for all different things: acting, dance, directing, There are a couple acting ones in there, actually. So there's a whole wide variety of things people can choose from. And again, there's a subscription option where you can save a bunch of money and just come to as many as you want.
Wow.
And we hope to do a stage management one soon too, because we've heard a lot of interest in people wanting to learn how to do that very specialized skill of stage management.
Yeah, and stage technology must be important where you work.
Exactly. There's a lot of people who want to learn that stuff. We do, again, there's a pool of artists in the area who have gone and done that stuff professionally, lighting design, set design, costume design, and we are lucky enough to have them in the theater working with us.
Do you work with projections in your space?
We have. So we just did, as I said, The Noteworthy Life of Howard Barnes, and Dan Roach, who was a local artist, created this really great projection that sort of crawled up the sides of the theater and wiggled its way around. It was such a fun way to start off the show, just kind of saying, like, this is going to be silly and fun, get your hats on. So we do once in a while, and then our technical director, Dave Baxter, often creates different things for us, whether it's rain falling or whatever it might be, a little scene that you might need to see. He produces that stuff from, I think we have 3 projectors in the theater now, so yeah.
I was there for one show, and somebody climbed down a ladder before they make their entrance. It's a very flexible space.
Yes, we try to do what we can.
So when people come, what kind of theater are they likely to see? Is it going to be Shakespeare classical theater, or is it a mix? Or tell us a little bit about that.
We try to do a mix. There is a play selection committee at Blackfriars. We will read anywhere from 30 to 60 plays a season. That process starts in August and runs all the way through January, where we say, okay, now we got to start getting rights in order and everything, so we got to make a final decision. But like I said, there are 4 plays, 2 musicals is the typical way that we do it, so there's a good budget balance in there. We also consider what different artists will be able to provide roles for. So a range of ages, a range of types. You know, are we providing opportunity for our BIPOC artists? Are we providing opportunity for non-binary artists? So we're making sure there's a wide range of options. And then obviously, you want a nice range of different types. Is it a comedy? Is it a drama? Like all these different, this spectrum of styles that you can be performing. We do Shakespeare once in a while. We had an all-female production of Twelfth Night back in, 2018, 2019, somewhere there. We've discussed a couple other options coming up, so you know, keep your eyes peeled. But yeah, we try to create a nice balance of something for everybody, and we do make it a point to try to push the audiences with at least one show to the edge of their comfort zone and make them think as much as possible, while also providing, you know, one over here that'll just be a fun fluff piece that you can laugh to.
That's wonderful, Nick. And now, are these works as if I were a playwright, could I submit something to you to be read, for instance?
We have that happen a lot. That's more tricky. We're not a producing theater. We don't do a ton of new works because we don't have the resources to do that as much. We have a very tight schedule. While we are rehearsing a play, we are also building the play in that same space. So we don't have auxiliary space to go and work a script or to do workshops and stuff like that. We've really just got this one space to work in. So doing those new works is tricky. It has happened, but we mostly just produce plays that are established.
I see. And do you have a book club, for instance?
We do, the BT Book Club, but we read plays.
Oh, you read plays?
Yes, we read plays and we discuss plays, which is really helpful because sometimes there's a piece that will say, hey, we love this, the whole play selection loves it, but ooh, it's on a really tricky topic, or it might be something that we think might be too outside the box for our audience, so we'll throw it out to the book club and we'll say, hey, read this, and people will talk about it, and then it either gets a response like, yikes, this was too much for me, or we'd love to see this produced. This would be great on the Blackfriars stage, and then it's really helpful to us. But that group reads one play a month and takes a little break. So right now we're in a summer hiatus, so it'll be back in September for anybody who wants to sign up.
And how do you do that? Do you sign up through your website, or?
Yeah, there's a place on there if you want to engage and learn, I think is the drop-down choice, which also has the conservatory options in there and all sorts of things. But you just go there and you get on our email list, and then we send you 2 emails a month, one to say here's when it's going to be, and the other one to say reminder it's tomorrow. Yeah.
Wow, and then you mentioned dance classes as well. That's fascinating.
Yeah, we do. So we have I don't know if I'd call it a series, but we like to do our body positivity dance workshops, which are just $10 to come in and dance your little face off with us for an hour, get a sweat on, and have some fun. And it's all judgment-free zone, really comfortable for anybody of any dance level. And it's just a chance to come in and have a laugh with us.
What style of dance are they learning? Is it?
When we do that one, the body positivity is really I would almost call it jazzercise.
Yeah, jazzercise.
It's just for fun. But we do have several dance classes throughout the season that we will label as like, this is going to be a Fosse class. This is going to be a tap class for all levels, whatever it might be, so that people know what they're getting into. And a lot of times it's to prep for an upcoming audition.
I was wondering if then you, from your conservatory or your summer classes or these courses, you can draw from local talent for your productions.
It's usually the goal, or at least to help those artists feel comfortable with what's coming up. It will never teach them an audition dance in advance, but it'll say here's how to really play up that style, or here are some, if it's a tap class, here are some really general moves that get used over and over again in tap, so that you can walk into that audition feeling really confident in what you're going to do.
And do you publicize your auditions? How would I find out about those?
We do. So that is on, again, the website. We also publicize on Facebook. There's a group called Rochester Audition Hotline, where everybody posts their upcoming auditions, every theater in the area. And then we advertise on City with the events section. So if you go to the events in City, you can find that there. But we announce auditions about 3 to 4 months in advance.
I see.
Of the audition itself, and then the auditions happen usually about 2 months out from the start of rehearsal. So you've got a lot of time to prep.
And then who are your musicians? Are they local as well?
They are, yeah. So everybody's local. We usually I do the staffing in the theater for all of the shows and set up those teams, but we allow the music directors to choose their own teams, which are their musicians in the pit, and we can hire anywhere from 4 to 6 people. Again, we're really small, so there's only so much room in the loft for instruments and bodies, so we can fit about 6 up there.
Oh, that's wonderful. Now, how about community engagement? Are you doing things to encourage theater in the community? We
sure are. So we have partnered with everyone from the Rochester Latino Theaters, the RLTC, I think it's called, and Veterans Outreach Center, all kinds of people who we work with. We also have a season sponsor, Trillium Health, who has been super helpful in getting and helping us to spread the word about what we're doing, but also to help foster up what we're able to do. With a sponsorship from somebody like Trillium, we're able to underwrite an entire production from that one thing. That's why these season sponsors, show sponsors, our donors, our patrons who give monthly or yearly at our big fundraisers are so helpful, and we try to tell them, here's what you're supporting. When you give us $500, you're underwriting an entire props and wig budget for a show. You're underwriting a lead actor to be able to perform for this entire show. Like, that should feel really good when these people come in and say, oh, that person was able to perform in this show because of my donation. So that's really huge stuff. But the community stuff is exciting, and we try to make sure that we're doing smart outreach that will help our actors understand what's going on. For example, when we did Veterans Outreach, that was for a show called John and Jen that dealt with the Vietnam War and different aspects of that were challenging. So coming in and having them work with us and talk to our actors about what that was like for them and what our actor who was playing John would want to look like when he salutes and stuff like that. So the community partnerships are really important in helping not only bolster the theater, but also to spread the word about what we're doing and to help our actors and our teams do their best work.
Now, I understand the theaters in Rochester have a collective called Theater Rocks. Are you part of that as well?
We are, yes. That's run, it's one of the leaders is Chris McCormick. I'm not sure if he runs the entire thing himself, but they do a monthly meeting where they get together and talk about what's coming up, and they try to spread the word with each other. So we have their flyers in that tells everybody what's going on soon. So that's really helpful as well.
And do you see people who've been through your conservatory program, for instance, going on to careers in theater?
Absolutely. We have not just people who have been professionals and come back, which is a big thing at Blackfriars, but also we've got kids in the Bitsy program who, with Blackfriars Theater Summer Intensive, we call it Bitsy, they go off and they have careers all over the country or in New York, etc.
Isn't that interesting?
Yeah, it's these are kids, and if you come to see one of the summer shows, I always say, like, come and see them as stars before you have to pay $400 a ticket to see them on Broadway, because they're so good. They're clearly going to go off and do great things. So it's fun to come and see them before they blow up and become.
And are there schools or universities here that particularly you draw from?
Well, we have a soft spot for Nazareth University, former Nazareth College, where Mary and I are both alums from that program, and our social media manager, Catherine, is also a recent graduate of that program. So we always encourage them to come out and audition. We're always trying to build more partnerships with them to provide opportunities for the students if they want not just to act, but hey, do you do props? Do you do lighting? Come and work with us. SUNY Geneseo has a great program. A lot of those students come and audition for the Bitsy program and have been in concert series and shows. And then RIT, U of R have great programs as well, and we have some of the teachers in those programs who work with us as artists, whether it's directing, intimacy direction, choreography, all kinds of stuff like that. So it is a community project, any of this stuff you see.
Yeah, there's a wonderful pool of talent.
Very much.
You mentioned that Rochester Institute of Technology and University of Rochester, and do you ever perform in other people's venues?
We have it. So during COVID, we generally, before COVID anyway, have a wonderful relationship with the JCC Center Stage, which is at
the Jewish Community Center.
Yep, yeah, JCC of Rochester. And during COVID, we performed on their outdoor stage because they were one of the few places that had a setup that was able to accommodate that. A musical is always challenging. You've got band, you've got sound, all kinds of things. So that was helpful. But we generally perform in our theater. We're going to be singing our faces off during the Pride Parade, but that'll just be from some kind of car with a boombox. I don't think that counts.
That's interesting. So tell us about your annual fundraiser.
Yeah, so that's called our Seasoned Soiree, and by popular demand, it has gone back in person. We were digital for a few years because of COVID, obviously, which was a lot of fun. We had fun producing crazy videos with all kinds of fun technology during that time. But it is now back live again. We, perform. We meet and perform at Artisan Works, which is downtown, really close to our venue. And what we do is we give the audience a selection of 4 different musicals, and we perform 2 songs from each one, and then they get to vote with their wallets on which show they would like to most see in the future. This gave us shows like Sweeney Todd. It gave us Howard Barnes, which was on a bit of hiatus because of COVID. So that got voted in 2019, and it's been waiting for 6 years to come out. So Howard Barnes, Sweeney Todd, Cabaret, all of those shows were part of the Seasoned Soiree selections. So if you're interested, come on over, and it's one of the more affordable fundraisers in town by a long shot, and we have a good time. People say that it is one of the funnest fundraisers they go to because it's just a riot, and we've got raffles, you can do all kinds of things, but you get a nice performance and some snacks as well.
Well, Artisan Works is always fun to visit anyway.
It's beautiful, yeah. It's lovely, and it kind of fits the zany vibe of the evening for sure.
And what time of year does that happen? It's an annual event.
Yeah, we usually aim for the second weekend in November.
Second weekend,
Yeah, this year it's going to be on November 15th. So
November 15th and 2025. Well, I'm sure that people can look for that every year.
Yeah,
that's wonderful.
It's on the website.
And how about a Christmas special? You mentioned a Christmas show.
We do. So, we do a holiday show every year. It's not always it's not always holiday themed, but we try to give people that vibe. Like this year we're doing Neil Simon's Rumors, which has nothing to do with the holidays, but for kicks we're going to set it in the holidays. It's an anniversary party that goes wrong, and we're just going to have all kinds of holiday decorations up for kicks and, you know, fun sparkly outfits. Just to make it feel like it's a holiday show, but it'll be a barrel of laughs. We used to do that show right through New Year's and do like a little reception for it, but this 2 years ago we started doing our New Year's Eve musical Mayhem, which is part of the concert series.
Okay.
And people lost their minds for it. They loved it. So we basically it's 6 performers. We go on, we perform our big show-stopping number that says who we are in Act 1 and Act 2. We come in and there's a whole bunch of showstoppers on the table, but nobody knows who's going to sing what until 2 seconds before we sing. So they basically draw names out of a hat to see who's going to sing what. So there's a bunch of nerves. It's fun. Everybody's supportive of each other, and that's another fun zany night, which happens early too. So you're out of there by 9 o'clock. So
no, even better.
Go to bed. But it gives people a chance like me who don't want to be up late, but like I want to put on my sparkly dress once a year and have fun and celebrate. So.
Well, you're in a good location there. I think people, you know, cherry about coming downtown, or you can go to Blackfriars.
Yeah, we have our own parking lot. It's easy. You know, that's half the battle when you're going to anything downtown is parking. You know, for us, it's just park in the lot, and we're really close to Village Gate, so tons to eat, tons to like lots of stuff around to help enhance the evening, if you like.
So you can get a dinner in a theater and.
Sure thing, and then you know you've had your glass of wine at dinner. Come and have a glass of wine at the theater too. We have our liquor license now.
Oh, you have concessions now.
We do. Yeah, we've always had concessions, but you know adding the beer, wine, and cider has been a nice upgrade for a lot of our patrons who say, you know, I like to go to the theater and have a glass of wine while I watch. Well, now you can.
Oh, how exciting. Now, if I want to pursue an internship or something, do you have those opportunities?
We do. We're staffed up for the summer, I'm afraid to say. We had a huge turnout this year for people. We usually announce those in November, but most of the internships happen over the summer. Because like I said, the summer, we've talked about all the stuff that's happening in the theater. The schedule is just too packed to try and spread our attention to teaching anybody anything. So we have a ton of opportunities during the summer. We have office opportunities, backstage, design opportunities. Obviously acting is one of them, assistant directing, assistant choreography. There's tons of opportunities. We have a couple volunteer builders right now who are considered internships, and they are doing a fantastic job. So there's all kinds of options available. And those are usually announced in you know, October, November of the year before.
I see, October, November. And do you work through universities for those, or people apply directly? Or?
We just announce and then people apply directly.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah.
That's wonderful. And what age is a typical intern?
They're usually college age. We had a couple high school people ask about it this year. We do interviews and everything, so typically the college age people will win out because they've had a bit more experience and the sort of training we would need for somebody to be considered safe to come in and help build, or you know, to come in and assistant design a show or something like that.
I see. How about volunteer opportunities?
Yeah, we love to have people come in and usher. We've got 3 ushers per performance, so there's always room for that. Again, these opportunities are on the website, but we have ushers. House managers, a little bit more selective. It's people who've been with us for a long time and kind of know what that looks like. And then if you want to come and help paint or build a show, we are always happy to have those people message us. It's a lot of people who are retired and like are looking for something to do. And right now our build staff is all former engineers.
Wow.
So, and you know, they want something to do with their day, and yeah, we're happy to help out.
Yeah, well, Rochester's rich in engineers. That's
exactly.
For certain. That's for certain. Well, now, do you perform in languages ever, or is it English productions, or?
It's English productions. We've obviously shows like Cabaret or Light in the Piazza, which we just did for the concert series, are going to have other languages in them as part of what the normal script would be. And sometimes translations are provided, often not, because you're viewing the show from the perspective of a character who doesn't speak those languages, so you're supposed to feel a little thrown off. But no, mostly English productions.
I see. And you come from an acting background yourself, and you act in your shows still?
I do, yeah. I've been out in the professional world of acting and, you know, musical theater since I was 18. So, you know, like I said, a lot of the artists at Blackfriars are people who have gone off, been on Broadway, Broadway, performed at the Hollywood Bowl, been in Carnegie Hall, but they don't want to live in a stinky, overcrowded city anymore. They want to have a family perhaps, or they just want to live in a yard with some grass.
Right.
So they come back here, and we're happy to provide a place where they can really push themselves as artists and still do that great work and feel like they've got that as a part of their artistic sensibility. Even if you're spending your day at Paychecks, but you want to come perform with us, please do. We make that very possible for people.
Now, this is professional theater. It's not community theater.
Well, we are a community. We call ourselves semi-professional. We pay everyone involved, and our actors as well, which feels great. And in the last 3 years, we've been able to increase stipends across the board for every artist who comes in. So that feels great. But we call it semi-professional because we are a community theater. We don't have the same resources that, say, a Jiva as a regional theater would have. And we prop up local artists. We want it to be a local endeavor. So yeah.
That's part of the mission. So that's fantastic. And now, where does funding come from typically? Are you applying for grants, or are you applying?
We sure are. Yeah. So right now we've gotten to a place which feels really good, where we're earned versus contributed about 60-40, which is a big jump from where we were when Mary and I came on, and a lot of that 40% comes from patrons who are donors. Again, we've got Trillium Health, who's a season sponsor. We've got show sponsors, but so much of that is contributed by the absolute angels who donate monthly to the theater. It's just set up. I'm one of them. We've got a couple wonderful, really anonymous, but also angelic sponsors, donors who just go above and beyond anything we could hope to expect with what they provide to us yearly. And through these people, we've been able to completely revamp the lighting system, the sound system. Again, we're rebuilding the entire back wall of the theater. Wow. Again, we've increased all the stipends. So a lot of that comes from our donors who are patrons of the theater and who are artists as well. And they give back. And it's really fantastic to see. And
there's information about that on your website as well,
There's a donation button right there for you if you want to go to blackfriars.org, for sure.
Blackfriars.org. And what's over the horizon for Blackfriars Theater? I mean, when completion date for the theater, for instance? Or?
Well, so we got to start building the Shrek set soon. They were scheduled to be done this Friday. Everything got pushed back because of a late delivery of lumber. Thank you very much. But we're keeping on schedule. It'll be fine. So they'll be done with the wall probably early next week, and then they start that Shrek build. So it's right on to the next.
Done with that back wall already?
Yeah, they're fast. We had a week to tear it down and a week to build it back up.
Good
and again, we've got a couple helpers this year, so that's been really wonderful.
Good Lord. And does the summer offering typically involve something like Shrek that's entertaining for the children?
It could be anything. It's always that educational program, so it always is for the 16 to 24-year-olds. And we work with, so Danny Hoskins, who is the former artistic director, has developed the Bitsy program, and we want to keep him on for as long as he'd like to stay on.
He's still with you?
He is. Well, he does that program, and then he might get asked to direct another show throughout the season. But he has been fantastic in that program. The kids love him. He has a good vision for what it's supposed to be, which is an ensemble building experience. And so we work with him to select what might be the best option moving forward. And we're already talking about next year. So, but what we do reach out to our artists too and say, hey, what musicals do you want to see? What kind of things do you suggest we do? So we want people to plant seeds for us.
And so how far out would you plan a typical season?
So play selection, like I said, starts in August. That's when we're reading plays. We usually have a pretty good idea of what musicals we want to do, and one gets selected for us. So it's a matter of getting those, getting down to maybe 12 plays that we're still considering once we get to November when we do the Seasoned Soiree. That musical gets chosen. Mary and I decide against that what would be a good balance to that musical, and then we know, okay, we've got these two musicals. Let's use December to figure out what 4 plays are going to go along with them that make sense with that.
Wonderful. Well, tell us your website one more time.
Blackfriars.org.
Thank you so much. Our guest today has been Brynn Tyszka. She's the artistic director of Blackfriars Theater here in Rochester, New York. Very exciting place to be and celebrating 75 years of success in professional community theater. Thank you so much, Brynn.
Thanks for having me. It's been great.